Jen and Ben, the victim, Richard Vinning, worked here at Cherry Hill Construction in North Branford. His co-workers, as you can imagine, were shaken hearing of the death of their friend. Today also happened to be Vinning's 69th birthday. The backup could be seen for miles. 2 lanes closed during the afternoon commute on I-91 South in Middletown after a dump truck crashed into the back of an unoccupied car.
The truck then rolled over, and the operator of that truck, unfortunately, had died at the scene.
Connecticut State Police identified the victim as 69-year-old Richard Vinning of Branford. Vinning was merging onto I-91 South on the exit 20 ramp when he struck the car. After rolling over, the truck went through the guardrail. Fox 61 storm tracker driving by as crews worked to pull the truck back onto the highway. Police say they are working to piece together what happened the moment before impact.
Does not appear at this time to be a medical condition. However, the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner will decide on what actually did occur.
Vinning was a veteran truck driver for Cherry Hill Construction out of North Branford. His co-workers at a loss for words after seeing the scene. The accident happening on Vinning's birthday. The accident reconstruction team is working to determine the cause of the accident.
The trooper that is investigating it, he's asking for any witnesses to either email him or call him. That trooper is Trooper First Class John Wilson. He's also looking for anybody who may have dash cam footage of the accident. And if you have any information, witnessed it at all, you're urged to contact him. And you can find that contact information on fox61.com. In North Branford, Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.